Alright, welcome back to the channel everyone. Today we have war number 8 of the season. We're up against Legion, strong alliance, who I'm pretty sure beat us last season. Can't remember for sure. But yeah, we are 4-3 down for the season, so we've lost one more than we've won. And so we need a win here to get us back on track for our push for Masters. Yeah, I was pretty close to just not uploading a war video for this one. I had a bit of a think about it. Then ultimately I figured, you know what, I'll get over what's coming up soon quite quickly, and it'll help to just get this out, to be able to just move past it. But we'll get to that when we get to that, and we'll start with this first fight. So it's a thing on ebb and flow knockdown with also, so you knock him down to remove the protection, and you get a big fury as well. And there's also right back at it, so when you do knock him down, he goes debuff immune. These things all combine to make him quite tricky here. If you don't have the right counters, there are some counters that make it a lot safer, and one of those is Nick Fury. So I'd never taken this one before. I had known of one person who had. I asked to see their footage, but they couldn't access it. It's been a little while back for them. They gave me a little walk through what they had done. And then finally I remembered that, a friend of mine called Nerd, who's in Vegas Discord server, has a channel of its own, so do go check him out. I think it's called Hyena, is the name of the channel. So shout out to him. He, I know, is a big Nick Fury fan, so I thought, surely he's done this. So I just took a chance, dropped him a message, and yeah, he'd actually taken it this season. I'm still trying to catch up on war videos, but all the people I've subbed to, and he's one of them. So I guess that is one that I've missed, but I've seen now, so that helped with my backlog of videos to get through. But yeah, no, it was just good to see it and see that it's a lot less worrying. Of course, I ate a special one there, but literally other than that, this fight just goes so smooth. It's just a really safe matchup with Nick. It's just a bit of a slow one, so obviously the slower a fight goes, the more likely you are to make a mistake, and that in itself is a danger. But it's just Nick versus Thing. You can manage his rock stacks pretty well. The aim here as well is when you do knock him down, you're probably gonna trigger his protection with the Fury, so just wait for the protection to go off. Also wait for him to be low on rock stacks. So here I parry, do the knockdown, so his protection's up from the parry. Wait for it to go off, throw my special 3, and this is how you can get some damage, because I think earlier in the fight you'll have seen I did the parry knockdown, and then I threw a special 3 while his protection was still up, and it did like nothing. So yeah, nothing much else to say on this one. I do get the nice clean solo, which was a nice start. And then we'll be on to the next fight, which I am not looking forward to talking through, unfortunately. So I have just the 4 fights this war actually, and this is the second coming up now. I am someone who doesn't really care too much for the quantity of fights. Of course, don't want to be doing, like 1 or 2 fights every war, because then it just feels like you're not really contributing. But then at the same time, I'm happy to do the average 4 or 5, sometimes do less, sometimes do more, however it lines up, because I know how hard it is to plan these. And my roster, I've been told, actually just really helps cover a lot of gaps, so it just means that makes it easy to just kind of plug me in here and there where it works. But this fight here is one I've actually just taken so many times before, and it's pretty straightforward. So the main thing here is just because of the heavy hitter, so it's ebb and flow knockdown again, which knocking him down is fine, but it's the heavy hitter. And you'll notice here, man, I just do not get my reparries. There's a few times I at first my phone was just feeling really like, it was just almost sticky. Like I couldn't really, like my thumbs just, I don't know if it was just like sweaty from going into these fights, feeling a tiny bit of pressure, but I was pretty calm. We were quite comfortable in the lead, so I don't know, it's hard to explain, and I don't even want to try. It's just really sloppy, and I guess that's clearly just as the fight's gone on. I've had some moments to recover it, and it's just never fully gone down. So here, there's a few times, as you can see, I'm just getting backed up. Don't get the special 1 evade there either, but then, you know, in the corner here, get a special 2 intercept, and again, you know, this opens up the room to recover the fight. Just can't get it down. I mean, AI-wise, this Havok, I have to admit, was quite annoying. You see there, finally I land a reparry, then I get a parry that I wasn't even expecting. But then he goes back to being annoying, then he's just throwing heavies all over the place, and he gets me cornered again. And yeah, this fight was just really frustrating. So, you know, spoiler alert, it's coming up soon, but I'm gonna die to this, and it's annoying because I've actually soloed this specific fight on this specific node I don't know how many times before. Even back when I was in a Plat 3 Alliance, I used to take my 5-star Warlock and go up against like a rank 2 or sometimes even rank 3 Havok there, so it's like, I can do this, but it just didn't line up for me today, and it's really frustrating because that puts me to 4 deaths this season. And this, along with 2 others, the Roblin and Arcus fights from the first 2 wars, they're just so unbelievably poor. Like, I can do so much better, and it's just a game, but man, it bogs you down a bit, especially when it's becoming frequent like this. We want masters, so, you know, I can't let it continue, but anyway, it's not worth dwelling on. I'll just let this pain of watching the fight finish be the last, bit of closure, and then slam the book shut on this one and move on. But yeah. Like I say, 3 of my 4 deaths now this season, so easily preventable, and in some sense you can call that a good thing. Like, you're like, you know, at least it's not a huge like skill cap or whatever that you have to work around. It is just sloppiness. That can happen to anyone, but yeah, you've got to shave that out. If you're playing at this level, you've got to get that out of your system. And then yeah, even the other death I didn't mention off the 4, the Sim Supreme, that one was actually a tricky fight, but I was managing it so well, and then it was just one moment where I slipped up and unfortunately lined up with his bleed face where it melted me. But yeah, I get back into this, and this is the most frustrating thing. I'm sure this is something a lot of players can relate to. When, you know, the ones who have given up deaths, I know there's some people out there who will remind me that they're very good at not dying. But for some of us who give away the deaths, when you go back in to clean it up, and it just goes so smooth, like look at those intercepts, and then again get another intercept there, like obviously there wasn't a lot of health, but that one just started, like when you compare that to how I started on my first go and how like clunky and slow it felt, compared to that just being so smooth, it just makes it even more annoying, I guess, but it is what it is. That was fight number 2, sucked, hated it, it's done, we move on, let's go. Alright, war, fight number 3 coming up. Alright, so fight number 3, actually, I don't have footage for because it came right after that train wreck of fight number 2. And I forgot to put record back on when moving between, you know, after turning it off to move between fights. So yeah, it was an invisible woman on path 9B on the first node. So we had someone else taking the second fight, and they were assigned to that path. I was called in to take the invisible woman with my Nick Fury just because it was a quicker and safer matchup. And I mean, yeah, it'd be nice to have the footage just to show, but it's a really, really easy matchup and doesn't really require the guide. It was something actually I had a lot of practice on back on my map 7 paths, because on one of the weeks I had the Do You Bleed path and she was there. So with parry, curse day, and then even without it, you know, there was limber. But parry, curse day in particular, I usually had to play her stun immune, and that's essentially what I was doing there. So in terms of the strategy, it's pretty simple. You just block at the start while she's invisible. Then once it wears off, she's got a really easy, heavy to bait. I think you might be able to step back her, but it's not something I practiced just because I knew I could easily bait her throwing her heavy while I was blocking, and then I just back off and go in and get my combos that way, and it worked smoothly. I got all my openings. I think I ate one combo to the face at one point, but yeah, really easy fight, nothing much more to say. And then yeah, I have one more fight coming up. Alright, so here is fight number 4, the final one for me this war. It was a mini-boss Iron Man Infinity War with Torch pre-fight, and we had a spare House of X pre-fight as well, so I was like, you know what, I'll take it. 15% extra attack is never a bad thing. And then yeah, slightly longer stuns as well. So yeah, for this one, I've taken him obviously on the Rage, I think once this season, maybe twice. And yeah, with high ground as well, it's just Iron Man Infinity War can get very tricky if you let them build. So with Torch, it's just making sure you don't just do, you know, heavies or medium combos, and making sure that, you know, if the high ground charges are getting out of control, you do want to maybe do some slightly longer charges, and knowing that, you know, while they're not Torch's usual combos, you've got to learn to weave them in to help yourself where necessary. So here we managed to keep the high ground charges pretty well managed. I don't think it goes over the current 2 it is at the moment. At any point in the fight, kind of fluctuate between 1 and 2. As you can see, it was closing in on a 3rd one there, but didn't. And yeah, thanks to this not being a rage fight, you know, we have Safeguard instead. So both actually obviously slow your damage a lot, but here you can see the Nova Flames just ticking away so rapidly and melting him, meaning the Safeguard's not much of a worry. Take a bit of block damage there. Unfortunately, the heavy we had thrown before put us right below 3 bars, so we did have to go take that extra reparry, but it doesn't matter. Still a really clean fight. And I mean, yeah, clean fight, and I still lose 39% health. That's high ground for you. But yeah, nice to get the solo there. Unfortunately, only 3 out of 4 solos this war, which I'm disappointed with. But as you can see, as a battle group, we did all right. 4 deaths, we want to keep that down to like 2 or less for a battle group. But there was actually 1 disconnect in there, so yeah, a bit unfortunate there. And then I think we did have 1 pretty bugged interaction as well for someone else, so could do better. But you know, overall, not the worst performance from our battle group. And so technically 3 deaths because of that 1 disconnect. And as you see, as an alliance, we did really well. So there's the disconnect in our battle group, and there was actually another one somewhere else. So really, that's 12-4. 4 deaths. We finally gone sub 5 because, you know, disconnects, you can't control them. That's not on us, that's on the game. So that is effectively a 12-4 in terms of looking at it for our own point of view of where to improve and our own records or whatever. But yeah, really, really proud of the alliance. Of course, it's hard to get excited about it. Finally going sub 5 should be something that I should be really happy with. But obviously my personal performance, again, just a really silly and costly sloppiness, and I've got to just really iron that out. 4 more wars as we push for Masters. And of course that does put us now 4-all for the season, and in a pretty good position to go on here. We've got to finish strong in these last 4 wars, I would say. At 4-4 we should be pushing for 3 wins minimum, just to try and guarantee that Masters spot. And I also do quickly want to add a big thank you to my battle group as well. Very supportive today. That's what I love about our alliance and our battle group as well. In particular, we just always have each other's backs when things go a bit messier and a bit wrong, and help push each other on. Like I say, 4 more wars. Hopefully we will bring our A game, smash it, land Masters, and hopefully enjoy the off season afterwards. But that will be all for this video. Take care, and I'll see you all in the next one.